You know, if you're wondering whether you and your person are really on the same page about your future together, this message may be for you. Hello and welcome to You and Them, your bonus weekly love reading with me, says Mina. As always, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's get started. So, before we get into your reading, I want to quickly talk about the channeled message that came through while I was shuffling for you. So, I was hearing a song. It was Sweet Melody by Little Mix. Specifically, the lyrics. He used to sing me sweet melodies. He played me, made me believe it was real love. So, those lyrics are a little heavy for a love reading, but don't worry. I wasn't getting the energy of a breakup. Actually, I was getting this energy of an argument. I feel like you two have had an argument recently where you've sort of said things to each other that you didn't mean. I feel like you said things in the heat of the moment, because I was hearing, I didn't mean that, I didn't mean that. And I think that this argument was about the future, like you and your person's future together. I feel like you and your person were having a discussion about that. And at some point, a subject came up where you didn't really see eye to eye. Yeah, I think it turned into a very big argument very quickly. I think it escalated really quickly because I'm seeing you reminiscing on this argument at the moment and actually wondering how it happened, how things got to this point, how that argument got so big so quick. So, yeah, if that resonated, stay for the rest of the reading because this message must be for you. Let's get into your reading now. Get a card for your person to start things off. Two of Cups. Okay, so your person feels a genuine connection with you, okay? Even in separation or post argument. I'm definitely getting this feeling of it's like lovers and best friends, okay? Your person sees you as a friend as well as a lover. They feel like you two connect, emotionally, mentally, physically. I think they talk about you and I think they talk to you a lot. I think, yeah, they love talking to you. It feels like you two talk about anything and everything. They love sharing things with you, whether that's deep dark secrets or just the day that they've had. Um, they feel a lot of chemistry with you. They definitely trust you. This feels to me like a blessing as well as a curse, how close they feel to you because, yeah, they feel that they can be completely honest. They feel comfortable being completely honest with you, okay? Like they hold nothing back. And I have a funny feeling that that's what caused this recent argument. I think that their blunt honesty was a little too blunt. But there's this energy coming through. It's like a disclaimer. It's like, they're so honest with you because they trust you more. Yeah, they trust you more than most people, more than anyone, really. Mm. Let's see about you now. The King of Pentacles. All right. So you're more organized, right? You're more focused on the future than your person. I think you're more prepared. Yeah, you're the grounded one, aren't you? I think you feel like the grown up in this relationship, right? Like you're the one who has their head screwed on properly, there's yeah, there's this energy coming through of why am I always the one to bring things up? Why am I the only one taking this connection seriously? Why am I the only adult in this relationship? Why are you acting like a child? So yeah, I'm definitely getting post argument energy here. You've got high hopes for this relationship though. Like this is someone you could see yourselves with in the long term. You could definitely see yourselves living with this person or marrying this person. Okay, so take this as it resonates, a very specific message coming through here, but I'm hearing something about children. So maybe the possibility of having children and not being on the same page there caused an argument. Very specific, but yeah, you feel like you're taking this much more seriously. You feel like you're more committed than your person is, and I think that hurts you. I think that hurts you because you're 100% into this relationship. And yeah, I feel like this argument, this sort of future talk that's sort of blown up, I feel like that's caused you a lot of anxiety, because now you feel like you and your person aren't on the same page regarding your future together. Let's see what your person is showing you right now. Get some information here. Six of Pentacles. Okay, so it's like they're like, meet me in the middle. Can we slow this down? Can't I'm hearing, isn't this enough for now? I definitely feel like you and your person, you don't see eye to eye where future planning is concerned. You're like, you plan everything, and they're like, more laid back. They're more, let's see what happens. You know what it feels like? It feels like a little bit like a type A and a type B relationship. But yeah, they're like, there is this energy coming through that they're like, you aren't being fair to me. I think they're like, you aren't giving me room to breathe. You aren't considering my wants. You aren't taking my wants into consideration. Um, I have a funny feeling you're ignoring each other right now, or you're at least not meeting in person at the moment. I'm getting something about text messages. Maybe that's something that you guys do when you're irritated with each other. You sort of go off and you only sort of text each other. You don't see each other like in person. I don't know. But for them, it's their energy. They want you to come to them. Um, but I think because of some things that were said during the argument, you're like, no, you come to me. That's what the King of Pentacles would suggest to me anyway. But yeah, they're like, meet me in the middle. You're like, no, this is what I want. So there is a little bit of a stalemate going on here. Feeling a little bit stuck here. Let's see about you now. We'll come back to your person in a minute and see what they're hiding from you, but let's see what you're showing them right now. Four of Wands. Okay, so you're not being mean about it. I think I think you might actually be trying to talk this future up to your person, this future that you have in mind. You're sort of pointing out the pros and the cons, you're pointing out the good points, and I think you're trying to get them to see your way. So you're like, oh, we could live here, wouldn't that be lovely? Or, we could get married. And I think for something like that, you're saying, that's only one step further, from what we have now. But it would mean so much to me. It's not that different. you might have an avoidant. Maybe you don't want to sort of scare them off. I am getting that children energy again. So you could be saying what it would mean to you to have children, or how you think having children would strengthen your relationship or bring you closer together, or it's a milestone for you that you think would be really great for the two of you. Um, that's very, very specific, but yeah, you aren't being mean about it. Which I think is quite hard for you because this argument, this future talk has really freaked you out, and you're really feeling stressed and really feeling anxious. I think right now you really want some reassurance, but I think at the same time your person is so honest that they aren't saying what you want to hear. They aren't going to say that just to please you. I don't think that's the sort of person that they are. I think they show love and care in a different way. Like, they show that they respect you by telling you the truth. I don't think it feels that way to you right now. But even though you're feeling like that, you are being nice. You're still being warm and loving. You're not, I don't think you're punishing your person with coldness or distance. That's not who you are. You're just trying to, it's not like you're using that to sort of manipulate them into getting your way, but it's like, you know, you're just trying to get them to see your point of view, because whatever this is about, you aren't going to change your mind. And this relationship with this person, this is real for you. And I think that's where you're getting your patience from. It's like, even though you want that reassurance, even though you want, you know, some, you would like to get your own way, I think. There's still love and care for your person. And I think that's why you're trying to be patient and you're trying not to panic. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can get you some insight in the next card. Okay, judgment. Okay, so even if your person seems unaffected or like they haven't understood what you were saying during this argument, I'm definitely seeing that, yeah, you're scared because of their recent behavior. I think, like, that they didn't understand the seriousness or the magnitude of what you were saying, but they did. They definitely did, okay? They did hear you. I think they just show emotion differently to you, and it can be hard for you to read, especially because this feels very high stakes for you. And I think because of that, you're struggling to sort of read your person. I think you're quite good at that usually, but because you're stressed out and because you're feeling anxious, um, you're struggling to do that right now. But they did hear you, okay? They heard what you were saying, and I think that's why they're wanting to slow things down. And it is definitely slow things down. It's not that they're pulling their energy back. It's not that they're having, second thoughts. They just want to slow things down. It's not because they don't want the future that you do. It's different. It's like they want to slow things down because I think they want to do things properly. They want to regroup. They want to slow down so that it's not too much all at once, because judgment can actually be realizing how much someone means to you. And if you're dealing with an avoidant, that can be very overwhelming. So it's possible that you expressing how much they mean to you and talking about having a future together has made them realize that they want this as well. Um, they do feel like a sort of live for the day kind of person to me. So maybe they hadn't really thought about it up to this point. Um, But now that it's sort of been brought up and they've sort of realized that they would want that with you, it's a bit like, oh my God, intimacy, intensity is it's too much, and I'm hearing like, we'll get there. Like, I want this with you, but can we slow things down just a touch? Can we meet in the middle? Okay, so there's a lot going on here. There's a lot at stake here, I think. Let's see what you're holding back now. Three of Wands. Okay, so that's more future planning. So I think this future talk that turned into an argument, I think what you guys discussed during that, that was just the tip of the iceberg for you. Even though it overwhelmed your person, for you, it's like there's so much more that you could have talked about. There's so much more that you've got planned. And because of that, their reaction to this is like, you're like, that's not even remotely close to how much I've thought about. This is as slow as I can go. This is what I want. I'm also hearing we have to talk about this stuff. Yeah, I do think you're trying to be patient. Like I said, you're being really nice about this. You're not being cold or distant or punishing them for freaking out. But at the same time, I think them freaking out when you only spoke about a little bit, when when it was only the tip of the iceberg, that's freaked you out. Because you're panicking now. You're thinking, do we have different plans for the future? Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's get your next card. Three of Cups. Yeah, this is both of you wanting to work this out. And so I think because of this argument, um because it was so heavy, I think you guys are going to be trying to keep things light. You're not diving right back into this conversation. I think you're reconnecting first and then working back up to it slowly. Yeah, I think that's the next step for you is reestablishing, your connection, getting a sense of connection again after an argument, getting close again after this conflict. Saying sorry and going back to normal and avoiding the future talk for now, because I think it's shown you both what's too intense for your partner now. I think it's going to be compassion and patience over honesty for a while, but it's going to be an elephant in the room. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you're both going to know that. I think you both want to talk about this, but neither of you really knows how to sort of start that conversation. And so I think you're just going to be keeping things light for the time being. Let me see how this is playing out in real life, because I feel like we need a bit more information here. Oh, okay. It's the Five of Wands. Wait a minute. Okay. So you'll reconcile and you'll go back to normal. Say sorry and everything's fine. But yeah, there is an elephant in the room. It's that future talk. That argument is still on both your minds. And I think this is going to come out like, how can I explain this? When something's bothering you and you can't keep it to yourself. So you turn it into a joke. Like, you're kidding, but you're not kidding. Do you know what I mean? So that's how this plays out. So you'll be joking around, but saying things like, calling your relationship casual, or something like we fight too much to live together anyway, or okay, what kind of parents would we be anyway? Do you see what I mean? That's how this argument, this future talk is coming up again. It's playful, and it's teasing, it's not malicious. I think this is I do think this is you, I'm gonna be honest. And I think this is you being honest as well. I think this is you trying to get your point across, but at the same time get some reassurance from your person. And like I said, they do pick up on more than you realize. Like, they're very in tune with their surroundings, even if they don't say. They're quite observant, I think. So while I think you're doing this to blow off some steam, to ease this anxiety and this stress that you're feeling, I think you're trying to subtly get some validation, some reassurance. I think your person is picking up on this, and let me see where this is going. What have we got? Queen of Swords. Yeah, they're definitely going to catch on to what you're doing. Okay. Even though you sound like you're joking, okay? That elephant is in the room, and I think even though you're kidding, it feels to me like you're kidding about something that you're really worried about. Um, I feel like this is an insecurity for you. I think this argument has hit an insecurity for you. Um, okay, I'm getting that very specific energy again. The actual insecurity I'm hearing, it's like you're worried that your person doesn't think you'd make a good parent. Again, it's very specific, but that's what's coming through. This is just an example, insert whatever your story is here. But basically, what's going to happen is you're going to be messing around, and the truth is going to slip out of your mouth. Okay. And your person isn't going to take it as a joke. They're going to see right through you, and they're going to be like, you know, um, so you'll say something, like, I probably wouldn't make a good parent anyway. And your person is going to stop what they're doing, and they're going to look at you and go, wait, what? It's going to be like that. They do pick up on more than you realize, and they'll be able to tell that this isn't really a joke, and that you two need to talk about this because they can see that you're spiraling. Um, they don't want you to be thinking what you're thinking. Okay, what you're thinking is actually going to really upset them. And as soon as they know that you're thinking this way, they're going to comfort you, and they're going to reassure you, because they do want this with you. They do want this future with you. Um, they just wanted to slow things down a bit, They didn't want you to internalize this and to feel insecure about it, or panic that, you know, they don't want the same future as you. That's not what this is. It's just that they wanted to slow things down. And I think once they realize the impact that this has had on you, I'm seeing another future discussion, and I'm seeing that one going in a very different direction than the first. I think it's going to go much smoother than the first discussion, because I think you're going into this discussion so raw and so vulnerable that they're going to sort of match your energy there, and you're going to feel a lot more seen and a lot more validated. And let me get your next card, actually. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. So this is you two slowing things down a bit. This is you two, you're not slowing things down to their speed. Don't worry, you aren't going that slow. Because I just felt like I actually saw the emoji rolling his eyes then. This is you two finding a happy medium. Okay, you're finding a happy medium between going full steam ahead and going at a snail's pace. Okay, I'm definitely I definitely think you're going to be feeling a lot better after having that Queen of Swords conversation, having that next future talk with your person. Like I said, it's going to be a lot more comforting than the first one. I think the first one was a little bit wobbly, it was a little bit clumsy. But this one, I think your person does really understand how much this means to you and that they need to maybe get past their fear a little bit because you need them right now. You need that validation and that reassurance. Um, I think you're going to be confronting a lot of insecurities during that conversation. Both of you, not just you. And I think after that, you won't be worrying about those things as much. Um, and I think because of that, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable going at your person's speed or closer to your person's speed because you've been validated and you feel seen and you know that you're both on the same page. You know where you stand now. And I think that was the problem, actually, that you right now you don't know where you stand and it's freaking you out. But once you do, once you know that you're on the same page, even though you aren't going at the speed that you wanted to, even though you're going to have to make some allowances for your person, and your person is going to have to make some allowances for you, even though this isn't going to be exactly what you had in mind. I do think this is just a case of miscommunication. I don't think this argument is anything serious, if you're worrying about that. I think it's just that serious things came up, and I feel like these were very touchy subjects for both of you. And it just got blown up out of proportion. And like emotions were really high, and I think you guys just need to calm down. And once you have, I really do see you guys sorting this out. Um, and your ability to be able to stay warm and stay loving, even when you're irritated or even when you're panicking, it's really strengthening your relationship this week. And the same goes for your person. Their ability to pick up on your mood changes and see through your jokes, that aren't really jokes. That's also helping your relationship too. So I think you're both helping the relationship in your own way this week. It's just, I think the wires got crossed during this argument, and you two need to come together to untangle them. A need for some communication there. But yeah, the Knight of Pentacles is all about slow and steady progress. And it is also a big card for patience. So let's get your last card now. King of Swords. So this is where you two stand by the end of the week, okay? This is clarity, right? This is you two knowing that you're on the same page. This is you two adjusting speeds. This is you two, again, with those insecurities, reassuring each other, getting rid of any doubts. This energy does feel very firm to me. It feels very resolute. I feel like this is coming from your person. The energy is very much, you're my person and I want a future with you. Um, it's also very honest, which matches your person's energy. It's like, but we need to look at speed and we need to, I'm hearing read between the lines sometimes with each other. We need to work on our communication as well. But yeah, it's really them saying, it's good, we're good, everything's fine, there isn't a problem here, we just needed to calm down. Um, you could actually struggle with some anxiety because your person, I think, is getting very firm with you. It's like it's caring, but it is very firm. It's like, you aren't going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. The King of Swords is very logical, and not so much emotional. So it's going to be like they're stating a fact. Okay, we're together, we're going to have a future together. End of story. We've got to find the right speed for both of us. So Yeah, some insecurities, some fears being addressed this week, and some reassurance and some miscommunication being cleared up, definitely. So, yeah, I think that's all that's coming through. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope this gave you something to think about and I hope it helped you in some way. But for now, I will see you in my next reading. Take care.